Go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah.
Or Isaac.
Oh,
How
well,
do you
thank you for
prefer?
taking my call. Yeah, Isaac. We spoke once before. Hopefully, you don't think I'm too crazy because of the whole dream thing. But I did have because of the question posed for the video today. Why do you believe in God? Um, my my main argument would be that, in my personal opinion, Pascal's wager holds more weight than the burden of proof counter. Um, that is my opinion.
I don't understand what that means. And,
Well,
before, hang on.
yeah.
So Pascal's wager is an argument that specifically contrasts atheism with a particular version of Christianity. Now, when you say it holds more weight than the burden of proof, that doesn't make sense to me, because the burden of proof is about epistemology. It's about how do we determine what is believable and what should be believable. Pascal's wager is a pragmatic argument that says, even if you're not convinced, you should act as if you're convinced. How does that hold more weight than the burden of proof?
Okay, so, all right. In my understanding, as far as Pascal's wager, I may be wrong in this aspect, but this was my interpretation, was that basically believing, if you believe, you have less to lose than if you don't believe, in which case you have everything to lose. My main point being, if it's not Pascal's wager, you can just take my point for being my point, that I see a lot of times people defer to, well, there's no evidence. The burden of proof is on the person asserting the positive. But as far as, like, say, for instance, for the purpose of Christianity, there's not enough proof for the positive would never hold the weight when being compared to, well, if you're wrong, then eternal barbecue, basically. Because and people do sometimes say, like, well, living the Christian lifestyle, you're expected to do certain things, when in actuality, biblically speaking, you're not required to do anything.
Isaac,
You're not required to pray. Yeah.
Actually, the Bible does require you to do some things, but let's assume that you use your argument and you become a Christian, and it turns out the Muslim God's the right one.
Well, that would be just too bad. But let me ask you a question.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Listen. So if you're a Christian and it turns out the Muslims are right, you're fucked. If it turns out the Jews are right, you're fucked. If it turns out Scientologists are right, you're fucked. If it turns out the Mormons are right, you're fucked. If it turns out that you're the wrong type of Christian, you're fucked. If it turns out any number of these, 1,000 different propositions about a God, if you don't get exactly the right one, you're fucked. So how are any of them any different from being in the atheist position? And if they're not, and you're fucked in all of them except you're the right one, then Pascal's wager doesn't work, because Pascal's wager doesn't tell you which one's the right one. How do you tell which one's the right one?
Well, let me speak from my personal brand of Christianity.
Isaac,
Does anyone answer the questions that asked anymore?
Why on earth do you think I'm going to let you speak from your particular brand when I just asked you a very specific question? How do you tell when I'm done fucking talking and it's your turn to answer the question? How do you tell which one's right?
I do apologize. There's a delay.
You can't blame a delay when you interrupt mid-sentence to part of the sentence he had said. That's not how delays work.
How do you tell which one's right?
I can tell which one I believe in, and I can only speak on what I believe in. I can't speak on the beliefs of other people. The question asked and the title is, why do you believe in God? Not why do other people believe in God?
Isaac. Okay, Isaac. The question was, why do you believe in God? And you say that because of Pascal's wager. But we've already demonstrated Pascal's wager cannot verify your reason.
All right, so just to recap, because my point was whether maybe perhaps I used the wrong term using Pascal's wager. Maybe I should say my reasons, and then we can argue at that point. Because Pascal's wager, I've heard about it. I know some of the tenets, but
Isaac,
I'll digress.
which God do you believe in and why?
I believe in the God of Abraham. I believe in the Bible. The Bible states, verily I say unto you, that if you believe on the Son of Man, you will not be condemned. There's only, according to the Bible.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Do you think I don't know what the Bible says? Telling me what the Bible says does not tell me.
But I don't know why you're saying.
Why are you fucking interrupting me, Isaac? Is that the delay?
It must be, because that's not my
Nope.
intention.
You responded to the sentence he was in the middle of, to what he was saying. Jesus Christ. I get so annoyed
Isaac.
with the people who blame the delay when it's demonstrably not the delay.
Isaac, I know what the Bible says. I want to know why you believe it.
Well, because believing it, according to the Christianity, I was raised non-denominational. Believing it only requires belief in Jesus for salvation. It's pretty easy, you know. Do I believe Jesus?
Okay, I muted you so that there's no delay. Now you can listen to me. Am I correct in understanding that you believe the biblical God because you were raised in it and it's easy and doesn't require anything from you? Is that a correct assessment of what you just said?
You could, yeah, to sum it up, you could say that.
Cool.
Raised in it.
Well, thank you. I'm saying what you said. You said you were raised in it, and you said that it's easy and doesn't require anything of you. And so I wanted to clarify. So you believe in a God, you believe in the God of the Bible, and you believe in it specifically because that's what you were raised with, and because it's easy and doesn't require anything of you. Do you think that's a good reason to believe that yours is correct?
I wouldn't say necessarily that my good reason is not particularly that. My good reason is that, say for instance, because a lot of people.
Hang on, I muted you. See, we were finally getting somewhere because you told me what God you believed in and why. And then I asked for clarification about the why. And you started to affirm, and you affirmed the clarification. And then when I asked if you thought that was a good reason, now all of a sudden you're saying, well, that wasn't my good reason. I've got another reason that's a good reason. So let's back up. I only want to know a good reason that you believe. I don't want to know the bad reasons you believe. I don't even understand what kind of person would tell me the bad reasons they believe. Instead of giving me the good reasons, give me your best reason, the best reason you have for believing in the God of the Bible. Go.
All right, just to clarify, that was your extrapolation, that first reason. My personal good.
Okay, stop, Isaac. It wasn't an extrapolation. It was what you literally said. I then asked you if it was fucking correct, and you acknowledged that it was. How dare you try to suggest that I am extrapolating inaccurately about what you said and you affirmed? I'm going to unmute you. And then you're going to give me your best reason with no preamble, no bullshit about how it's my spin. You're going to give me your best reason, or I will drop you like a hot fucking rock. Give me your best reason, Isaac.
Like I said, it's because of the concept of hell. Period. That's it.
So
Okay,
fear.
so-
The possibility.
Your best belief.
You are
reason for belief
afraid-
is fear.
You are afraid of a particular concept of hell, and therefore you believe the religion that you think is going, the version of religion that's going to get you out of that hell, right?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. Do you think that's a good reason to believe something is true?
I mean, digging through all my feelings here to see. Personally, I feel like as far as possibilities are concerned, yes, I do think that's a good reason. Because I mean,
What if it turns
I
out
mean,
that
that's,
hell is real?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What if it turns out that you're wrong and a different hell is real?
Well, that would be unfortunate. I mean, supposedly that's a possibility, but in my research of different religions, I have been researching several religions. I always find something wrong with them. So, I mean, it would be surprising, but so I mean, all I can say is that would be unfortunate.
I'd love to hear an example. Zach, you researched Islam, right?
A little bit, just a
What
taste.
did you find wrong about Islam?
That semen comes from the spine.
Right. Okay. And the Bible says that there was a global flood. So why is it that when the Quran claims that semen comes from the spine, Islam is wrong, but when the Bible claims a global flood, it's not wrong, even though that is a demonstrably incorrect thing?
I'm not gonna lie, I probably have my own I would
Biases?
need, for me personally, yeah. For me
Yeah, so-
personally, I would need, because I've looked into.
So you are saying you
right
don't
now-
have a good reason to believe, Isaac. You are saying you have fear and you start with your conclusion. And you want to say that that has heavier weight than the burden of proof. And we're saying you shouldn't believe until you have a good reason. And you want to project this idea that you're going out there researching and eliminating the other possibilities, but you're not. You're just looking for a way that it is in conflict with your belief while leaving your belief on a pedestal. So, Isaac, let me ask you directly, now that I've already asserted one way, do you care if your belief is true?
Of course I do. I've been.
How can
I've
you
been
say that when
researching-
you just said, how is that consistent with what you just said, that when the Quran was false, said something wrong, you dismiss the Quran, but you don't dismiss the Bible because, as you stated, as you admitted, you have biases. Is it possible
Well-
to ignore things, acknowledging your biases, and care if something is true?
Well, to be completely honest with you, because of the churching, the indoctrination I've gone through, it would take a significant amount of things to bring me out of my Christian foundation.
So
Like right now, I'm
why not
currently
just start
reading
over?
Bible.
Why
It's
not
because
just go?
you don't understand the
That's
burden of
easier.
proof, which is why you're shifting it.
Yeah. Why not just start with, okay,
No.
I can start with Christianity as long as I don't die in the next 5 minutes, I'll be fine. I'm going to go down to 0. I know I've heard these things of conflict. I'm down to 0. Okay. I'm currently saying I don't hold a belief that Christianity is true or false. Let me list the reasons why, not I want it to be true, why it appears to be true. So fear is not, because you could say anything is true with fear. I could tell you that I'm magical, I'm God, and if you don't believe it, your colon will fall out and you'll have to wear it like a tail for the rest of your life. Okay? And you could fear that and believe that. That wouldn't be a good reason. You just start going, what are the good reasons to believe it's true? What are the bad reasons to believe it's true? What might point to it being untrue? And then you make the conclusion. And now you're suddenly a skeptic and not having to admit to people. And I'm going to calm down because, in fairness, that was an honest thing to do. You've admitted that you are biased. and that you're trying to maintain your bias. You've admitted that you've been indoctrinated, and it's hard to break free of your indoctrination. So I just gave you a path to it. I just gave you the way I did it, in a way, in a roundabout way. I was trying to prove God true and Mormonism true, and discovered that the task was impossible to actually do with things like scientific, empirical evidence and the like. So there, I've given you a thing to try. Can you just go try that and bring it back to us with, okay, I did it. I went down, I sat down with a piece of paper. I put on it, I currently am not saying it's true or false. And I listed the reasons why it's probably true. I listed the reasons why it might not be true, or bad reasons to think it's true. And I listed the reasons why it might be false. Can you just do that? And if you come to the conclusion still that it's true, bring to us that column of good reasons to believe it's true.
Well, I should have prefaced it by this, I literally came for assistance in the process because
that's what I just
say,
gave
for
you.
instance, I've been doing a lot of reading,
Okay.
mainly on Christianity. Like the current book that I'm on is The Encyclopedia of Biblical Errancy by C. Dennis McKenzie. And he points out perceived biblical contradictions and things like that. So I'm really, I'm trying. It's but it's once it's easier for me to dismiss Islam, for me to dismiss Judaism, because I wasn't raised with that.
Yeah.
But,
Just because we have to move on because of time. I get it. You called for assistance. If you need to, go back and watch again. I just gave you an exercise that I think will be the best assistance. Just give that a shot. All right. Call us back with that column. We want to hit these couple of calls that are left. We were supposed to be out 7 minutes ago, but I think that's the best place to leave us here, right? Is try that out and bring us your column of good reasons to still believe it's true. Sound good?
All right. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Isaac. Sorry. Thank you. Hello, I'm Jimmy Snow, executive producer for The Line and avid candy eater. Hey, if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so now on Patreon or as a channel member with tiers specific to supporting specific shows and hosts. And it also supports our ability to expand programming going forward. You could also leave a super thanks down below, get a little special highlighted comment, and I'll tell you what, you could hit like and you could hit subscribe. Now, here are some video suggestions so we can fudge that algorithm. Go with one of ours. Forget everyone else on YouTube. I'm begging.